Prison Riot Radio. What's happening, man? This is King Guru coming at you from Kern Valley State Prison at level 4, 180 yard on that west coast. I'm here with my podcast called The Truth. And in case you're not familiar with this presentation, I speak on everything prison related. The catch is I'm uncensored and I'm not coming with an agenda. So when I speak the truth. And this episode is called the Pen Pal Game. And in case you don't know, let me explain to you what a pen pal is. A pen pal is a person who corresponds with a prisoner or prisoners. And most pen pals meet a prisoner after he's been incarcerated. And even though there's a number of ways a guy in prison can get hooked up with a pen friend,
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Yeah, that's that authentic shit. I'm calling from the penitentiary. All right, the number one avenue is on any pen pal websites that operate as a sort of a dating site that connects prisoners with women or men in the free world. I'm the author of a book called Pretty Girls Love Bad Boys, an Inmate's Guide to Getting Girls. And Pretty Girls is one of my all-time best-selling books. Reason being is there's inmates around the country who are always looking for love, but prison has put a lot of boundaries blocking them in their quest for love. So my book gives guys the skill set and the techniques to overcome these obstacles. And see, when a person comes to prison, they don't always have a family to hold them down. They don't always have women either. And in the case they do come up with a girl in the background, that female or females will usually bounce within 3 to 18 months. Trust me, I've been doing this and I've seen it. You females out there, a lot of y'all hold it down, but like 90% of y'all be gone within 3 to 18 months. So this is the part of the reason why prison is such a lonely place. It's designed to break men down mentally as well as emotionally. I know some guys who've gone 5, 10, even 15 years without speaking to a free person on the opposite sex. And that's inhumane if you ask me. But what can you do? Shit, you can get yourself a pen pal, that's what. Another part about prison I gotta bring up is the cost of living. If you operate under the assumption that prison provides everything inmates need, you can't be more wrong. They don't give you deodorant or toothpaste in prison, and the food that they feed us is barely enough to survive on. And don't get sent upstate where the winters are white, because you're not even going to get a sweater either. So everything in here costs money. If you don't got somebody looking out for you, it's hard, man. Matter of fact, let me paint you a picture. Imagine having to wear Bruce Lee slippers because you don't have the money to buy you a good pair of shoes. All while your next door neighbor has it good enough to order a brand new pair of Jordans every single quarter. And when's the last time you've really been hungry? Imagine being so hungry that your stomach is growling and your hands are shaking. All while the man in the next bunk is eating some food with an intoxicating aroma. Imagine having to wash someone's clothes, having to sew someone's clothes, having to wash their drawers or spend hours drawing cards just to get paid $2 or $3 in soap and deodorant because you have no way of getting it. Under these conditions, it doesn't take long before one of us looks around and starts trying to figure out how to get it like the guys with all their amenities such as food and clothing. And something I learned real quick was that the most common denominator all the guys with things had was the support from the free world. And since that support usually comes in the form of an angelic female, the pen pal game becomes the lifeline most men reach for. The first time I was exposed to the pen pal game was when I was doing time in the Florida Panhandle. There was a white guy in my building whose name would get called every single day during mail call. And he wouldn't just get 1 or 2 letters. This dude would get stacks of letters 5 days a week. When I first came to prison, I was curious about everything. I had no problem asking questions either. So one day I approached this guy and hit him up. I asked him about all that mail he was getting. Man, he didn't even hesitate either. He looked at me and told me to have a seat. Then he pulled out one of them accordion type of file folders. Yeah, this guy had multiple files on his different pen pals. He had them all organized with copies of letters he'd written them. He'd also had their birth dates, their astrological signs, favorite songs, hobbies, even a list of their close family members. This guy was writing 13 different women, and he kept everything organized so he wouldn't get his facts mixed up. He took the pen pal games as serious as he would as if it were a real job. He ended up becoming my Mackin mentor. Yeah, my Mackin mentor. Master at communicating, y'all. Okay, he gave me flyers to all the different pen pal websites. He also laced me on a treasure trove of game that he came up with throughout his own journey. And to be honest, I'm thankful for all the knowledge and wisdom that he gave me. Shit, in the end, I ended up writing a book on this subject. Inmates all across this country are eating off that book right now. So over the years, I've learned a few things about pen pals and how things work. And I'm going to go ahead and lace y'all up on a few things that I've learned. First of all, there's a major misconception amongst less experienced inmates that pen pals aren't interested in lifers or guys with a lot of time. This misconception is kind of important and it deserves attention because it's connected to another major theme that I've recognized in this realm. Since a lot of guys think that long-term inmates won't get hits, some of them feel the need to lie about their amount of time that they got on these pen pal websites. Man, I'm telling you, lying about your time is totally unnecessary. I've seen more lifers get mail than any short-termers I've ever been around. And it's surprising, but it's true. The second misconception that I want to debunk is about our presentation of these websites. All the major pen pal websites have flyers. And these flyers tell inmates not to send pictures showing off their tattoos or giving thugged out poses. They tell prisoners to speak about their accomplishments and all that good stuff. Man, that's bullshit. Check this out. I know people. I talk to people. I've had to write books on relationships between prisoners and their free world lovers, and I'm telling you right now, I've talked to all kind of guys about this. When a guy gets a hit on a website, you're going to know if he gets it because he's going to be out here so excited, he's going to tell everybody. And when I see somebody who has gotten like 10 or better new contacts on his tablet, I immediately ask him to see his profile. And I'm telling you, from what I've seen with my own eyes, is the guys who get the most hits are the ones posting pics with no shirt on, tatted all the way up with their gasoline on. Real talk. Ain't that funny? So, if you read their bio, that 250-word bio that you get to spit your spiel, they damn near repping their sets in them profiles. So all that nonsense about rep all your good stuff, no, man. It seems like females out there want that bad boy. So, my next observation is kind of connected to the first one regarding the interest a lot of pen pals have with lifers. See, something I've noticed is that most of the women who tap in with inmates through these websites are usually on the other end of the map. If you're in Cali, you'll get a lot of hits from Florida or the Carolinas. If you're in Florida, you're liable to get most of your mail from Washington or Alaska or something. And I haven't even started on the European women. There's so many European women who tap in with U.S. prisoners that they actually make documentaries out of it. Real talk. It's almost as if pen pals tap in with prisoners who have no chance of ever getting out and seeing them. See, these common threads got me to thinking about how ironic it is that I've been called a manipulator by women who get their hands on my Pretty Girls Love Bad Boys book. See, in that book, I give guys poems, jokes, pre-written letters, and other information that they can use when corresponding with women. The book sells because so many of us have gone through so long that some have forgotten to properly communicate with females in the free world. But here's where I think the irony comes in. See, I've got a theory of my own. I believe that the majority of women who utilize the pen pal websites to meet guys in prison have no intention whatsoever of ever really being with that guy. Yeah. Now, this reason matters is because despite what you've heard me say so far, a lot of guys do catch feelings.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
90% of these relationships are cultivated under the guise of love and companionship. So when things go wrong, the first thing the pen pal says is how they were used for financial gain, taking advantage of and manipulated. But who's really the manipulator here? Some of us are drowning in here looking for a lifeline. I think it's kind of predatory for someone to take advantage of that when their intentions aren't pure. So I'm just being real. I know a lot of y'all gonna get mad, but I'm keeping it gutter with you. So now let me say this. I'm sure there's real women out there who are wholeheartedly looking for a man behind enemy lines to build an authentic, heartfelt relationship. And I can put it on my kids. You got real niggas in here who will worship the ground you walk on. Word is bond. But the only way you're going to be able to build a solid relationship is if you start with a solid foundation. And the only way you're going to do that is if you keep it gutter from the start. Convicts, try coming from the heart when you sign up from a pen pal website. And women, come on, y'all. Come with honesty when you tap in with us. This is some grown and sexy shit. If we all keep it real, karma's going to bless us. So that concludes my presentation of the truth. If you like what you hear and you want more of King Guru, meet me at my website, KingGuruTheLegend.com. Peace, y'all.